Hello everyone, my name is Lawrence and thank you so much for watching my channel. A channel talks about investing in the stock market and also talks about financial independence. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing such that you don't miss other videos like this. Today, I'm going to be talking about Uganda Securities Exchange, and I'm going to be talking about 3 companies that I feel this year you should watch them if you're interested in investing on Ugandan Stock Exchange, or if you're planning to invest already. So which are these companies, and why am I choosing them to be the companies that you should watch? So as usual, I'm going to briefly talk about these 3 companies, also go into a bit of financials, and also give my reasons why these companies should be watched. Number 1 is Stanbic Bank, second bank is Bank of Baroda, and third is energy company Umeme. So as usual, let's go directly to the first company, which is Stanbic Bank. So Stanbic Bank, briefly, is a commercial bank in Uganda and is licensed by the Bank of Uganda, the national banking regulator. So basically, Stanbic Bank is the largest commercial bank in the country by assets, and as of December 2019, which is a bit old but still a price, the bank's total assets were valued at 6.6 trillion, which is 1.75 billion US dollars, and at that time shareholders equity was valued at 1.078 trillion, which is 286 million. And as of June 2020, the bank's total assets had increased to this one, 2.1 billion US dollars. So basically, this is the brief introduction. Maybe another important thing you should note about is the ownership. It says as of 2017, I believe up to now the ownership hasn't changed. The largest holder was Stanbic Africa Holdings. Actually, this Stanbic Bank Holdings Africa, if you read about it, it is the largest bank group in Africa by assets. So when it comes to Stanbic Bank Uganda, you can see it's owned by a strong company. Second largest shareholder is National Security Fund, which is the government of Uganda. Actually, this fund is it holds funds for the retirement funds, you can say that. So second is Duet Africa Master Fund, Kuwait Investment Fund, Sudiri Rupereria. So you can read the rest. So you can see the top 10 people who own the Stanbic Bank. So if you can go to the network, you can see about more than, actually we have more than 8 now, I believe. So this is a brief introduction about Stanbic Bank. So let's go briefly into its financials. So I always use this investing.com, which is actually one of my favorite website to go to in terms of financials. So if you go to just the brief ratios, you can see the last time to pay dividend, it was 2.15, which is equivalent to 8.78. As you know, if you have been following me, I love companies that pay dividends. And as you can see, the dividend is above the average inflation rate in East Africa, which is about between actually it fluctuates between 5 to 7. So automatically when you invest in this company, they will be paying you the annual dividend of 8.78, which is a bit okay. So you can see also the previous closing. Actually, the closing, it was about 24.5. So if you see the price to earnings ratio, it's also still low compared to the average banking ratio. So, and you can see the change, it has increased a bit. But if you go to the graph here in the next 5 years, the last 5 years, you can see it declined from 33 to 24.5. I believe it will go back when the situation goes back. So this is one of the reasons I believe you should be able to follow up this company, because it's a very strong company, the largest company. So it has a competitive advantage, has its own weaknesses, but in terms of finance, in terms of strength, it is one of the best banking companies that you should be able to own if you're investing in Uganda. So this is one. So if you go to its maybe financials, the income statement, if you go to income statement, and you already, this one gives us the last 4 years. It did not include the 2020. Actually, the revenue also declined as any other company because of the COVID. But if you follow these the last 4 net interest income, you can see it declined a bit, but it went back. You can see it has not been very good, but you can see it has been moving up. So this is a good sign. So if you can see the net income after taxes, it also has been increasing actually steadily, which is the type of company you would want to own. If you're buying any company, you need these figures, the net incomes, to be going up like this. So this is a very good picture. So if you go to earnings per share, which also something you should be looking for, if you also so another thing to look at is earnings per share. You can see also it has been going up, which means it's a very good sign. So if you see at the dividends also has been going up, which is a very good sign to us who invest in companies for dividends. This is a very good company that you would want to own. So basically that is it about. Actually, if you want, if you have time, you can also go into the balance sheet, because the balance sheet also, it shows how healthy the company is in terms of assets, and also you check also the debts also. So if you can see the total assets, the assets have been growing, which is also a good sign. So another thing that I normally want to check is the long-term debt and also the short-term debts. So if you can see the current liabilities, it doesn't have many actually. The long-term debt, you can see the long-term debt has been constant, which is not bad compared to, if you compare to the assets, it's not bad. The liabilities are not bad, they are manageable by the bank. So if you check also the equity, the total equity, you can see also it has been moving up, which is also a very good sign. And the shares haven't been diluted, which is okay. You want a company shares to be constant or to have reduced. So this is a very good sign. So if you want more information, this is just a brief. You need to also, you can check the summary, the financial summary, the dividends, how the cash flows. You can check all of them so that you can know exactly what company Stanbic Bank is. So that is number one company that I would want to own if I'm going to buy, if I'm interested in buying shares on Ugandan Securities Exchange. Number two is Baroda Bank Uganda. So what is Baroda Bank Uganda actually? As also known as Bank of Baroda Uganda Limited, known as also Bank of Baroda Uganda, is a commercial bank in Uganda. It is one of the commercial banks licensed by Uganda, the Uganda Banking Regulator. So the overview, you can see Bank of Baroda Uganda is involved in all aspects of commercial banking, focusing on large corporations, small and medium enterprises, and individuals. So Bank of Uganda Bank of Baroda Uganda is a subsidiary of Bank of Baroda. Bank of Baroda actually is an international bank with its headquarters in Mumbai, and is listed on Ugandan Securities Exchange, where it trades under BOBU. This is the symbol. As of December 2019, the bank had assets of 498 million US dollars, with the shareholders' equity of 100 million and 5 US dollars. So basically that's the brief introduction. If you want to check, you can check the CEO and also what it does, the products, which is it gives loans, credit cards, savings and investments. Basically these are the kind of products that it deals with, so you can read through. So okay, you can see Bank of Baroda Uganda owns also Baroda Capital Markets. If you also want to buy shares, actually you can go through them. They are also a broker. And also if you want to buy bonds and also bills, treasury bills and treasury bonds, you can also go through them. They are also brokers. So another important thing we always check is the ownership. So you can see Bank of Baroda of India owns 80%. So the reason why shareholder perspective is very important is because some companies are owned by individuals or companies that are not really involved in banking or any other the specific activity that company does. So like this Bank of Baroda, you can see it is a banking institution. Sudhir Ruperelia, this is one of the richest guys in East Africa. So he also owned one of the shares in Stanbic Bank. So you can see actually most of the rich people, they invest in stocks. So that's one thing to note. DFC Bank is also one of the Ugandan banks in Uganda. National Social Security Fund, we talked about it also. So you can see King Caesar Murenga is also one of the richest people in Uganda. So you can see most of the people who own actually Baroda, they also own Stanbic Bank. So there is, I think, secret in owning shares. Basically, this is a brief introduction. You can also read through the branches. Actually, this bank, the reason why I'm interested in it, if you go to its figures, is one of the fastest growing banks in Uganda, which I think has a great future if you invest in it. So this and Stanbic Bank, the only difference is Stanbic Bank is a very mature bank. This Bank of Baroda is like a growing bank. And also if you check on its the last 5 years, you can see it was on 160. It did decline to 120. I believe in the near future it will grow because I can see actually it has been improving over the years. So if you see actually the dividend yield was not put, but because actually this time it did not pay because of the COVID, but the last time it paid 10. If you check on the calculator, 10 if you get 10 divide by 100, the last price 120 times 100, you can get 8.3, which is the dividend yield. You can get 8.3, which is the dividend yield, which is also very, very good because it's also above the inflation rate. You can see also 4.74 PE ratio. It's also a good and below the banking PE ratio of the banking industry in Uganda. So this is also one of the promising banks in Uganda. Personally, I would rather invest in Baroda than investing in Stanbic Bank, because Baroda, I believe it still has a long way to go. Stanbic Bank also may expand, but Baroda is growing faster than. So if you're interested in growth, you would rather invest in Baroda than Stanbic Bank, because the Stanbic Bank has been slowly growing. For Baroda, it has been expanding. So that is the difference. Actually, if you have money, you can also diversify and own both of them, because I believe Stanbic Bank is good, Baroda is also good. So if you go to its financials, a bit of income statement. If you go to income statement, annual, the annual, so it hasn't reported to 2020 income, but you can see also this one has been also a bit stagnant, not growing but consistent, which is not a very good sign, but you can see it has been, you can say, stagnant. Actually, it has not been moving very fast, but I know it is on the move. You can see this is not a very good picture actually for a bank that you would want to own. If you see net income, you can also it also has been stagnant, which is not a very good picture. These figures are not very good. If you go to earnings per share, the earnings per share has been actually good. It has been going up, but you can see as of 2019 it declined. So you can see it's always up and down. It's not consistent, but these figures they are not very bad per se, but this is not a good picture of the company that you'd want to own. And as you can see, the dividend per share, it has been also increasing, but here it got stagnant. So for us who believe in dividends, this is not a bad picture. So basically this is about, but also we need to check the balance sheet to check its assets if they are growing, to check also the debts, how they stand in terms of debts. So you can see the income has not been very promising, but you can see the assets have been going up, which is a very good picture. Let's check about the debts. The debts actually they are not that bad. You can see only they took a long-term debt of this is 9 billion, which is not a bad thing compared to the assets they have. So if you go to actually the most important thing also in the company is the debt. So if the company does not have debts, even if is a bit struggling, that's not a very bad thing, because it can wake up, or if it can get more debts to finance its growth. So this is not a bad thing. You can see it has not been having any debts, and as of 2019, that's when it got these debts. So if you go to equity, total equity, you can see also it has been growing consistently, which is a very good sign. And also the shares, they have remained the same, not diluted. This is also a very good sign. Actually, Baroda, as you can see, the figures are not very bad. So, and it is growing, therefore is one of the companies that you should also be looking at. Another final actually, to myself, this company is a bit controversial. Last time I talked about that this company should be able to avoid it, but the dynamics have changed. If you followed my video, I was talking about the government. If the government changed, things could be worse. Anyway, let's first talk about it briefly. I will just talk in detail why I was negative about it, and now I'm a bit positive about it. So Umeme is the largest energy distributor in Uganda, distributing 97% of all electricity used in Uganda in the country. The shares of the stock of the company are listed on Ugandan Securities Exchange and are cross-listed on Nairobi Securities Exchange. So you can either buy them on Uganda Securities Exchange, or you can buy them on Nairobi Securities Exchange. And as of December 2019, the company's total assets were 692 million US dollars, with a shareholder equity of approximately 833 billion, which is equivalent to 227 million US dollars. So you can see it distributes 97% of Uganda's electricity, which makes it a monopoly. That is one advantage of this company. So if you go to the services, mainly it gives electricity. That's the main service. So I will not go to the details. I'll just go directly to the shareholding, which is a very good thing to note. So as of December 2017, the 10 largest shareholders in stock of the company were illustrated as below. This is National Securities Funds. This is also the government fund that collects the retirement fees and also other fees. Mainly it's a retirement fund. So if you can check 23, this is a government body that does not deal with electricity. So that's why I was one of the things that was skeptical about it, because this fund does not know about electricity. That's one negative thing. Aran Gray, Kimberlite, Frontier, these are all foreign companies. Investec, Asset Management Africa, all of them you can see, most of them they don't have experience in power distribution or power, anything about power. So that's why I was skeptical about it. But because it is a government, it is only managed by the government of Uganda. That's a good sign, because now its contract will be expiring in 2025, and the government now has the NRM government has won another term. I believe they will extend it soon, because they cannot terminate the contract, because people will lose the money. So that's an advantage. That's why now I'm talking about it, that you should be planning to own it, because it's a monopoly, and at the same time they are going to extend their license. Because actually, if you don't know about this company, it is like it manages the power on behalf of the government of Uganda. They gave it a concession, so its concession will be ending on 2025. So if they don't terminate the contract, to continue managing. But if they terminate, then there will be a problems in terms of shareholding, because basically the shares is because they own, they manage the electricity of Uganda Electricity Distribution Board. So that's the problem with owning Umeme. But as of now, Umeme is fine, though it has some debts. So if you see, these are the managing directors. This is the management team. You can read through. It's also very important. So if you go to figures, so if you can see, in 5 years time, it has been declining seriously from 550 to 220 as I record this video. So this is a big loss of investors' income, especially if someone had invested here and is selling at this time, is more than 70% of the investors' income. That's why you should be very careful when you're trying to invest in any company, because you can lose a lot of money. So what is interesting about this Umeme is this dividend. If you invest in it and it pays this dividend of 41, you will be getting 18%. So literally, you will be having just 5 years to just recoup your investment. Within 5 years, yet you still have your invested money in the Umeme. But this time, it did not, the income declined. So I don't know if they will be giving dividend or not. So that's what I don't know. I will just be waiting. But if you are interested in investing, I believe this, even if they will decline, it may go to 10%, which is something to look about. So if you go to financials, let's go to income statement. A bit of income statement. So if you see from the income statement, actually the income has not been bad. It has been increasing. It has been increasing, which is this is actually a very good sign. Another thing that you should look at is actually operating expenses. The expenses also have been moving up, but in relation to the revenue, which is not bad. So if you see its net income, which is also one of the most important things, you can see that they did make a loss here, and also they did improve in the next years, which is not bad. Actually, energy companies, they do, most of them, they make losses, so this is not a bad thing. So if you go to earnings per share, you can see they have been up and down, but a bit consistent, which is not bad. So if you see the dividend has been increasing, which is a good sign to us who invest for dividends. Actually, this is not too bad. So if you go to assets, which is also one of the things that you should check, so you can see also actually assets have not been growing that much. You can see they declined from 475 billion to 430 and to 326, and also they went back again to 550 billion Ugandan shillings. So you can see this one has been up and down. But if you go to the most important thing is the liabilities, current liabilities, you can see there are a lot, accounts payable. So you can see current liabilities is 755 billion Ugandan shillings. But if you see the long-term debt, almost 756 billion. So if you add it, that's when it is giving you around total liabilities of 171.7 trillion Ugandan shillings. But if you see assets, if you see actually the equity or the total assets, actually you can see almost half of the assets is debt, which is not a good thing. So if you can see the total equity, 833 billion to long-term debt, you can see there almost this debt is almost equivalent to total equity. This is not always a very good sign, because this one means actually that the whole equity, if the company was to be liquidated and the equity is 833 and the long-term debt is 756, it means actually the owners would remain with almost nothing in their pockets. This is not a very good picture when it comes to debts. They have tried actually to reduce it, but still this doesn't make any big sense. Actually, for your information, most of the utility companies, most of the energy companies, they always have big debts because they have long-term projects which needs funding. Maybe that's a reason, but still this is not a very good sign. So if you can see, the equity has been growing, but still this one has been reducing. Maybe this is a bit of good sign, but still this one is not a very good sign. If you're a good investor, you want a company that does not have a debts. But as I said, for energy companies, most of them, they have a debts because they are actually heavy investment companies, so they have a long-term projects which they need capital, so that's why they take huge debts. But the debts, they always take the profits that companies make. That's the problem I have with debts. So basically, if you see the shareholding has not changed over the years, which is a very good debt. So basically, these were the three companies that if you're going to be investing or if you're interested in Uganda Securities Exchange, you should watch, because these companies, they are good companies, I can say, and they are there to stay. They are going to stay for a long time. If you see Umeme is a monopoly, if you see the Stanbic Bank is the largest bank in Uganda, Baroda is still growing. So these companies, as I said always, every day, please go ahead and make your thorough research. Don't depend on me, because this is just for education and also entertainment. Please do not take my own research minus doing your own research. Otherwise, if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing such that you don't miss other videos like this. Once again, have a nice day. Bye-bye.